doubles and coffee from a rainy day probably all across Trinidad and Tobago. And isn't it ironic that yesterday Kamla Persad Bissessar's cabinet, understanding that the rainy season is upon us, knowing that the PNM did not care, did not prepare as they had done for 9.5 years, a cabinet note was brought from the Ministry of Works and Transport, $250 million to desilt and to clear all waterways, rivers, riverbanks across Trinidad and Tobago. That is so critical. And guess who's going to be given the responsibility to get the work done? The hardest working woman, the hardest working minister in Trinidad and Tobago, given the authority by the most intelligent, most diligent, hardest working prime minister in this country. Kamla Persad Bissessar authorizing Jolene John to provide you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, with the peace of mind that the Lord Almighty could let it rain and we will clear the drain. The Trinidad and Tobago flooding problem will be mitigated against by thought, by investment, by funding. Gone are the days when Dave Tanku and David Lee have to sit down in the parliament and Saddam Hussein and ask on the other side, the PNM, Rudal Munilal, Saddam Hussein, Ravi Ratiram, had to ask the other side, but why only $1 million for desilting of river mouths, of clearing of drains, of clearing of rivers? Why only 1 million? And why was the money not spent as you, the people, flooded all through the Southland? As it rains, you get scared. You start to monitor the drains. You start to monitor your backyard, your front yard. You start to look at where the water is pouring off the road. Is it going to come by you? Are you going to be lucky? You're stressed. You start to put your thing on top of table. That's the life you live. PNM don't understand that. When it flood, Rowley will be in Tobago on the golf course if it flooding in the south. If it flood in Couva and in the middle, Chaguanas, Rowley would drive past you with a special branch and go to the opening of a fancy store in C3 Mall. Gone are those days. Kamla Persad Bissessar yesterday at Cabinet approved a massive program to bring relief to you so that this rainy season we could get at ease, that you could live, that you could not have to go by courts and take out more oven and stove and fridge and TV. That is care. Yesterday in Cabinet, I don't know if you all understand how hard, how fast Kamla Persad Bissessar is working to keep her promises. She's already kept more promises than the PNM made and kept in 9.5 years. Property tax will be repealed. The legislation will be brought to Parliament. The LRC will draw up the necessary bill with the clauses to be debated in the lower house and the upper house. So that dreaded calculation of disgusting, manipulative, vindictive, painful, irresponsible, bold-faced PNM nonsense, while they waste your money with Noel Garcia, interlocking directorships, Newman George, Iniski, to dip in your pocket with Coleman, but unable to account his ministry, unable to account for $2.6 billion, but they come in to take more of your money, to tax you, to take your money out of your pockets. Kamla Persad Bissessar has already approved with her cabinet the repeal of that dreaded property tax. You get into evaluations, different valuations, your neighbor valuation lower than yours. You don't want to rent your home, you're living in it with your granny and your nana, but them telling you about an annual rental value that them concoct in their brain. Gone are the days of the PNM. I say this to you to just remember, leave the PNM where they are forever. Not for 5 years, not for 10 years, for 30 years, like what the PNM did us from 1956 to 1988. Let the PNM splinter. Let them form different parties. Let them argue amongst themselves. Let them have dissidents. Let them go on and talk about coalition and having to get together. Let them stay out because they deserve to be out. They are where they deserve to be. Cabinet also approved all children who took SA. All you really get it nice, boy. A lot of children, I have to apologize. For the 9.5 years that PNM was there, I, Anil O.E. Roberts, apologize to you because you missed out. Because the Prime Minister at that time, Christopher Rowley, cared more about himself, his golf game, enriching his financiers, his businessmen, doing deals with Maduro and narco-terrorists. He cared more about that than you, the children of Trinidad and Tobago. So I humbly apologize to each and every one of you that you were unable to get a laptop. But feel good for your younger brothers and sisters because Kamla Persad Bissessar is here. And the process has begun through, I think it's iGov-TT, one of the agencies to procure to get laptops before September 2025 for all of you 18,000 odd children who struggled and went through the stress of SEA 2025. When Kamla wins, everybody wins. So that has been done and will be done, and you will get your laptops. So this is what is going on in the cabinet, the PNM, to all the workers at WASA, the hard workers, the workers who want to provide water to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. But you're being thwarted by PNM incompetence, PNM nepotism, PNM stupidity, PNM arrogance, placing and putting people above you who were unqualified, who did not know what they were about, but paying them huge salaries. That is over. All of those 34 big managers with huge salaries, 30 million a year. The cabinet, the Minister of Public Utilities brought a note, the Honorable Barry Padarak, to eliminate that PNM nepotism over the neck of WASA. Don't let them spin it. It's just those top 34. You know them, the ones who weren't qualified, who came in under the WASA board, who approved and put there with massive salaries, and they don't know their butt from the elbow. They don't know anything about the job. They're underqualified, underperforming, lack creativity, and the people suffer, and you suffer every day having to report to an incompetent, blithering idiot. Those people are now gone. Their positions have been revoked and removed by the Cabinet of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago so that WASA could breathe. And also you knew before in the previous Cabinet meeting that oppressive plan of the PNM to fire 1,800 to 2,400 WASA workers is gone. Kamla threw it away. Barry threw it away. It shall not be there. Intelligent management from the top down, efficiency, effectiveness to get water back up to 74% where Kamla had it in 2014. She did it before. She will do it again. And she will do it efficiently without the PNM nepotism and corruption that took place yesterday, along with other decisions to improve your lives. The Clico debacle that has weighed on this country, and the PNM has kept the assets of the biggest black African conglomerate in Caribbean history, where they wanted to sell out, drop the price of all the assets and give them to their friends and financiers. Dave Tanko and the Ministry of Finance and a committee has been given instructions to formulate a report. It will be laid in Parliament for you, for the people, for all of you to see what took place, and eventually Clico will be handed back to its shareholders. These are earth-shattering, groundbreaking decisions taken by a Prime Minister who cares, a Prime Minister who is efficient, a Prime Minister who is diligent, a Prime Minister who knows how to govern. That is your Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessar. Other decisions were taken also. For the video going long, doubles and coffee, enjoy it. You have a government that cares, an intelligent government who will run this country for you. As I told a class, my daughter's class yesterday in the Senate, I was privileged to get to talk to them. Them children grilled me. It was worse than the former Senate president, boy. about 30 questions in 30 minutes, rapid fire, left, right, and center. Brilliant questions from the children of Bishop's Anstey Junior School. I enjoyed it. I think I answered the questions very well, and that they enjoyed the experience. So that Parliament, that Senate, will be used for your benefit, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and not to make little deals and bring laws to improve the lives of a select few, not to make the rich get richer, but to use the resources of the country to redound to your benefit, because your Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessar, is in charge. Bless.